Many of us in life are looking at how do we make a living and how do we utilize the social media tools that we need to utilize in order to produce a life worth living and a retirement worth having. When I talk about this in my audio cast, The Magic and Mayhem of the Lord, I really am talking about marketing tactics. I used to be a marketing and methodology man, and openly I still am that person inside. When I'm looking at how do I produce a life, I have to utilize technology tools in order to do that. Federal laws covers communications tools. That means legitimately that we have the right to utilize a telephone and utilize social media, which is utilizing those telecommunications capabilities in order to produce a life for ourselves. One of the challenges we have right now is that there are companies that are sort of impeding our lawful rights to utilize the federally protected telephone lines. What I mean by that is that we have social media companies that utilize the telephone line in order to produce their services, but they're telling us that we don't have the right to call people and that we don't have the right to interact with people that are total strangers. They really don't have the right to do that federally. Facebook always says you have to know someone, but that's not really true in America. In America, we can walk into a restaurant, we can walk into a shop, we can walk into anywhere as long as people are open to it, and literally even a church or synagogue, meet someone, make an acquaintance, and business can be produced. When we do that, we're creating real-time relationships like I used to do with a friend of mine in terms of video production, but what I'm talking about here is the lawful right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness underneath federal law. When we talk about these things, we're talking about real issues. We're talking about the fact that if someone cuts off our telephone, if someone impedes our right to make legitimate telephone calls to anything, whether it be an EMS person or whether it be a physician or whether it be a business opportunity or whether it be a job opportunity, we literally have no way to get ahead in life. We all are looking for how do I make a life worth living in terms of having enough income to live, to provide ourselves shelter, food, and transportation. We're all looking for how do I create a retirement worth having, meaning that I don't have to work until I'm 80 or 90 years old just to provide for myself. Most people don't have retirement in the bank. It's pretty true. That is not a financial planner's problem. It is the fact that we are all busy living our lives, trying to live to the fullest, experience life in a way that we can within the income streams that we have. Many people live modestly and don't have a lot of possessions is not exactly true today. A lot of people acquire a lot of things, and then towards the end aspects of their life, they have to just literally give it all away because they haven't planned over the course of their 50s to 60s to 70 years in life to slowly but surely sell it so they have extra cash to go places and do things. In life, we have to decide what's important. The truth is, in life, relationships are important. Business is productivity is important. The ability to use our skill sets and talents is important. And when we don't have that right, we don't have the right to get a job. When people interfere with us, when people lie on our names, when people ruin our rights to get shelter, that makes it very difficult too. When people interfere with our medical health, people interfere with our mental health, trying to state that we are not well, that also is a federally protected area that people have no lawful right to get into. I have found that in my own telephone with Google Voice that I am looking for voice messages so that I can respond to people calling me, that someone has illegally and immorally removed those voice messages. It is not me doing that, and if it's Google as a company doing that, they should be found guilty in some way. However, if it is an employee at an establishment where I'm using free Wi-Fi after purchasing a meal or during purchasing of a meal, then that is a real issue. That is called cybercrime, and I believe it is also federally protected under the law. When we talk about real things, we're talking about real life. And when we talk about political aspects of life, we have to look at what politicians are looking at today. Now, there's a lot of noise in the background here, and I apologize for that, but I am literally in McDonald's where I'm able to produce a meal for myself because of the kindness of a man last evening who works at a McDonald's who literally was loving and kind and made sure I ate. The reality is that when we don't have opportunities to make a living, we have to rely on other people. And what I have found amazing in my journey of homelessness and of travel and all the things I've done is that the total strangers that are unknown to me are the kindest in the land. Yet people that I know really well, that I've had a lot of business relationships with, or even my own birth family, have failed considerably in protecting my lawful rights under federal and constitutional law. I encourage you all to pay attention to the upcoming political election. We have a lot of people vying for the presidency in order to remove the tyranny that's going on right now where people are saying that they have lawful rights to things that they really don't have lawful rights to. We have the right to privacy in America, and that is something that we all deserve. It is something that we should all hold dear, and it's something that we should all protect when we're doing our confidential conversations with other people. If we're in a moment of trust, that person might share with us something, and in that regard, we are responsible and liable for the information we receive. We don't have the right to go out and to call places in ahead of us to say, don't let that person use the telephone, they're bothering me, they're doing things, or other things like that, which is a total blatant lie. People have the right to make amends, people have the right to build relationships, and people have the right to go places freely without someone going in and tainting their opportunities, removing their right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, as is promised underneath our Constitution. I'll do some upcoming audio files and video files on our U.S. Constitution because I feel that our educational system is not preparing our children every year of their life until at least college to understand our laws. And as a result, we have a lot of petty crime, we have a lot of vandalism, we have a lot of theft, and that is a result of lack of education, lack of training, and a lack of regard for the men and women who died for us to protect our country from the infidels abroad who sometimes infiltrate our systems here and ruin lives of people with their own beliefs, their own powers, which are really not the right of their opportunities. What I mean by that is that we have a lot of medical staff, a lot of technological people who come in from foreign lands because they come in from affluent families. They don't always come in from impoverished families based on visas and studentship, but openly that is the truth, that money can buy things that other people can't. The reality is when we're talking about these things, we're talking about real life. We're talking about the fact that every human being, every adult person, regardless of their level, regardless of their version or aspect on the spectrum, has to be able to produce enough money to live safely, to have shelter, to find food, to discover love, and to literally be of service to the community. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone. If you're literally listening to my audio cast and appreciate them, then please, by all means, make a note. If you're actually in the political realm, I'm looking for a political consulting job because we have a lot of things that people are missing out. And by traveling the way that I have, I've seen a lot of issues that should be totally handled by the funds that are being invested in local governments and local people that are not being addressed at all. We probably have people sitting in the wrong places that are supposed to be monitoring the community. We probably have a lot of information and structures that need to be fixed. And we most likely have people who have a lot of money that they could stop putting into medians and start putting back into roads so that our cars last us much longer and our tires wear a lot less. I can't get over how bad the roads are, particularly in Fishers and Noblesville. I can't get over how difficult it is for a person who has handicaps, or in this case, when I'm traveling with some wheels, can get across sidewalks. I don't know how the people who are literally facing special needs and being in wheelchairs and walkers and other things can get around on sidewalks here. It doesn't make any sense to me that we have been so lacking in our care of elderly that doors on buildings are so heavy that it's very difficult to open even if you're not feeling well, even if you're under poor health, or even if you're just plain old tired from the long day that you have to work. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone, and this is your chance to make a difference. I'm literally selling different things as I go to produce a life for myself. I take care of myself just fine, and openly there's always someone who wants to lie about another human being, and that is not their lawful right underneath the house of God or underneath federal law. We have the right to privacy of information, we have the right to privacy of healthcare, we have the right to privacy of our medical usages, and we also have the right to privacy of our telecommunications tools, which is where we began in this conversation. Our telecommunications tools are federally protected. Social media companies need to be brought to justice. They're interfering with our lawful right to make a living. And that's something I'd really like the senators and the presidential elects to speak about. At this point in time, I'm going to close up my audio file to say thanks for listening. I always appreciate those who give me a call or who literally send me an email or get on with me with LinkedIn to tell me that they value what I'm talking about because it's real, because it's authentic, and because it makes sense in today's world of needing to produce a life worth living and retirement worth having. Thanks again for listening.